beloved hearts of love. It is I, known to some of you as the Archangel Michael, who comes to address you this day through the messenger known as Usa. As I come to you, I ask that you do not let your hearts be saddened by what is occurring in the world. Let us remember we are in the opening years of what shall be a permanent golden age upon the earth. Yet your world has a history of much discord and darkness. And through the storms that are unfolding upon your planet, out of these storms comes the great revealing, the great cleansing, and a new opportunity for the people of earth to enter into a wonderful new collaboration and cooperation with the great angelic host. As I come to you, I am asked by Mother Akasha, by Mother Mary, Mother of Jesus Christ, and from beloved Jesus, and from beloved Saint Germain, and the Goddess of Liberty, who overlight America. I am asked by each of them to relate to you their love for you and their desire, as you turn your attention to each of them. They desire to pour their love into your minds, into your hearts, that each of you not only can endure much of the turmoil and the suffering that is in the world, yet also to rise above it, that each of you may become a powerhouse of such light, such love, and such liberty, that all the peoples of earth shall feel your light, your love, and your great desire that justice shall prevail. I am also asked to relay the love of the House of India, those ascended masters from the great cave of light, such as beloved Mother Metta and Lord Shananda. I am asked to relay to you their love and their support. And finally, I've been asked by His Eminence, the Lord Buddha, who is the Ascended Master elect for the people of earth at this time, asked by His Eminence that if you will remember him, if you will invite him, that he will expand his flame of peace within your hearts, within your minds. For during these times upon the earth, these times in America, it is not a mind filled with turbulence that is going to help anyone. Only those minds that are hearts that are filled with a calmness, a trust, a conviction that the light will prevail. The truth will prevail. and in holding faithfully with conviction to this knowing, and as the many of you allow yourselves to feel closer to our angelic host, we will soon realize that all the injustice, all the suffering in the world is but temporary. The new world, with much greater light, shall come forth, offering each individual and all nations of the world the rightful destiny of liberty and freedom for all peoples and all nations. Therefore, let not your hearts be saddened. We are here. As I, Michael, receive your attention this hour, will you please try to accept and then feel my desire to enfold you, each of you, in my cosmic blue flame of purity, power, and protection. And if you will call upon the great I Am, which is your own individualized flame of God, commonly known as your higher self, to sustain and maintain my cosmic blue flames that I am willing to anchor within and around you, that they may be held at all times. And then try to remember that as you go on about your daily activities, to remind yourself that with your call to I, Michael, and your acceptance of what I can send you, that you are then lovingly held in the protection, purity, and power of my heart's flame love for each of you. Try to remember, to remind yourself that you do acknowledge and love all the entire angelic host and their presence with you each day. For our assistance can assist you in all the activities of your life and the challenges that you face and the challenges that exist in outer world conditions. Now, precious hearts, while there is a certain amount of discordant energies in the consciousness of the people of Earth, please realize this discord often prevents the kind of peace and calmness that your lives require in order that each of you fulfill your destinies, and then helps you to always be an overall positive influence to all life around you. Again and again, we remind you that your race, the people of Earth, are one of free will. And the more of you who use your free will in accepting the reality of the angelic host, consciously welcoming angels to be present in your lives, then we can move into the outer conditions of the world. and we can move more of our power, our protection, our sacred fire, purity, and love of the entire angelic host. And then you will experience and see more often the results of your calls to us, your acceptance of us, your meditations upon us, and your use of the sacred fire. When you cooperate with us in this way, dear hearts, this is where the power of the angelic host can be intensified around you, and certain cosmic action that will bless you and eventually be a blessing to your nations and to all the people of the earth. Now, of course, for most of you who are spiritually awakening, there is greater acceptance of the guardian angels. And often when someone is clearly given some protection in some crisis, and the individual comes out of that crisis all right, often someone says, well, your guardian angel was taking good care of you. For you see, there is an innate knowing within the life of every person. Yet that innate knowing only begins to surface as there are those who pursue the great spiritual awakening of their lives. An innate knowing that the angelic host are the guardians of the people and their experiences of this world. Yet there are many in your world who do not use their free will to accept the angelic host, and therefore we must honor those who do not accept us, those who reject us. And therefore, we cannot offer them the guardianship they were intended to have through their experiences of being in this world. For those of you who do accept and recognize us for who and what we are messengers and protectors from great heavenly realms of light, designated to help and serve the people of your world, the people of earth, to fulfill the gift of life that is given to each person. Now, moving forward, I ask you, beloved precious hearts, if you will commence to recognize that we, and the angelic host, that we seek now to offer each of you in these beginning golden years, to offer each of you a golden sun's presence of the guarding power of the great angelic host. That's a golden sun's presence of the guarding power of the great angelic host. And if you will accept this, try to visualize around you the sphere of our golden sun's presence about you. Try to visualize that at least once a day. then of your own acceptance of us and your effort in doing this, then you cooperate with us in maintaining a guarding presence around you all throughout your day. Your world and the present conditions being what it is, until life sorts itself out on your planet, there will always be those conditions and situations where our angelic intervention can be very useful in a wonderful and just way. The American election that has just been held is an example of a condition where if the angels are invited, we can help. Ultimately, the heart of the American people and all peoples of the world is good. And ultimately, every heart desires justice and liberty to naturally enjoy the freedom all peoples and nations ought to enjoy. Yet sometimes there are shenanigans. Don't you love that word? There are shenanigans where some people might try to influence results in a dishonest way. Let us remember, for America, over a few centuries, the good peoples have created checks and balances in their political systems that are intended to sort these things out. Now, we can make sure that if anything does not seem right, our sacred fire power and intelligence works in such a way to help reveal to the people anything that has been dishonest, anything that has been attempted to be hidden. Let us be clear. Let me, Michael, be clear. The angels do not protect anything that is destructive. We never do. We never will. When called upon, we will blaze our all-revealing sacred fire into every condition and situation of this American election, so that the natural checks and balances of the Constitution and those provided by legislatures do ensure a just and final outcome to this election. There are enough of you who know and accept the angels. There are billions of angels within the great angelic host. And therefore, if you will call to I, Michael, and my uncountable legions of the angelic host, to blaze our all-revealing sacred fire, intelligence, purity, and power into every condition and situation of this American election, then we can do so in a way that the natural checks and balances of the Constitution and those provided by legislatures do ensure a final outcome to this election. And this is but one condition in the world, and there are many others. For those of you who know of us, know of the mighty sacred fire, use your free will. Call to I, Michael, to command and demand the descent of uncountable legions of the angels of the sacred fire. To come into all conditions and ensure their purity, ensure that all that is constructive, we are ready to move into greater release of our sacred fire intelligence, power, purity, and love into every condition that affects all the peoples of the world, until your world is one of many just societies of wellness, happiness, enlightenment, where the God-given liberty and freedoms are enjoyed by every person, and every person having the God-given opportunity to fulfill their lives. And so, precious hearts, it is time. It is time to recognize that we in the angelic host can make a big difference in what is going on in your world. It is intended to be that way. We are your guardians. So as we move into the release of greater power, which all of you are going to require, and we wish you to accomplish great things in the shortest period of time. Therefore, whatever needs to be done, whatever needs to be corrected in outer physical conditions, realize those conditions can always have the assistance of the angelic host, if we are recognized and called forth, where our protecting flame can be drawn into outer conditions by your conscious will and desire to love every condition free. Now we are drawing more and more power into your world every day about all of you, especially those of you who accept us. And I, Michael, would like you to realize that as we are drawing more and more sacred fire power into your lives and world, you are drawing more power every day through your calls and decrees to us. And therefore, this becomes two mighty streams of energy combined. And they become a cosmic action of the sacred fire, where legions of the angelic host called into the lower atmosphere of earth to hold about you, to clothe you in every activity of the sacred fire. Now we wish to offer this service not only to all of you individually, but to all your nations of the world. And all the sacred fire that we offer is given to help you to control all the activities of your life. Yet I, Michael, say to you, encourage you, always remain humble and obedient and grateful before the great God presence, the mighty I Am, that abides within each of you and above you, and to the cosmic sacred fire, which it is constantly releasing into outer physical conditions to correct what humankind has caused to come into existence that produces such confusion amongst the people and eventually destruction. Now, beloved hearts, if you will accept the golden sun's presence of my love around each of you, as you become more and more aware of the unfolding sun's presence of the angelic host, eventually you will notice a clearance of your mind. The mind becomes much brighter, and then you have much assistance in everything to which you turn your attention, so long as it be constructive. I assure you, beloved hearts, that as you enter into your calls and decrees, there will always be at hand one or more of the angelic host to assist you in ways and means that may not yet be revealed to you for months. Yet that assistance will be there. With your command that everything in your being and world become a sun's presence of the guarding flame of the angelic host, you will find the sacred fire come in and around you, will begin to take care of conditions that you meet in the outer world. I, Michael, wish you, desire for you to become so invincible within my golden sun's love for you, that wherever you abide, our sacred fire goes ahead of you and provides the best conditions possible for your success and your enjoyment. Now, in the correction of conditions of the outer world that are destructive, and there are many of them, please understand there are legions of the angelic host who direct the various activities of the sacred fire. Not just my cosmic blue flame. There is the cosmic blue lightning. There is the violet flame, as well as every other activity of the sacred fire. And therefore, when you need or desire to send forth into a national condition or a world condition more power to hold the victory of the light, fail not to remember that the angelic host who direct the sacred fire, that we are ready, and through your calls and decrees for our angelic sacred fire intervention, it is here where through your calls this will set into action activities of which the sacred fire become the master. Blessed hearts, much of this must be done now. The final cleansing of the earth has begun. And the angelic host never use anything but the great sacred fire power of the great love from the heart of creation. And whether that love comes from the angelic host or the ascended host makes no difference, because we all use the action of the sacred fire that is life's love to produce perfection. And so when you call forth the angelic host's guarding flame of invincible protection, you will find many times conditions around you changing suddenly for your benefit, your protection, and the protection of that which is constructive. Not only for yourselves, but also for your nations. Because you need this not only around yourselves, you require the guarding flame of invincible protection. You require this in the powers of nature and the forces of the elements, in your plant life. Too much of nature has gathered unto itself discord generated by too many people of the world. And therefore, blessed hearts, if you will remember us, and if you will remember that wherever you choose to bring forth something lovely to bless yourselves and others, to bless your nation, you're going to require the guarding presence of the sacred fire from the angelic host. And the more of the legions of the angels, of every activity of the sacred fire and every great cosmic ray of light, the more we can come into the lower atmosphere of earth, the cleaner your atmosphere will be, and then the purification of the conditions in the atmosphere of earth and that which is going on the surface of your planet, the purification of all conditions can be brought about powerfully and quickly as the angelic host are called into action to govern every activity, every condition, every situation. Then, beloved hearts, much of the destruction that goes on too often, almost every day, in the outer world conditions will simply be neutralized by our sacred fire, love. And if we can neutralize destructive conditions, then that destruction does not go ahead and produce what was intended. There are many, many blessings to come out of this. If you will choose this day to have an enduring relationship with Archangel Michael, greater cooperation and collaboration with the entire angelic host, I am hoping that you will all love to feel the good God companionship and the association of the angelic host. In their closer contact with you and those who will welcome them into outer conditions, to more quickly purify and correct them. We are here, beloved hearts. Let not a moment's delay, let there be plenty of you. If I say to you, enough is enough, we were always intended to be a guiding presence in your lives, to ensure your destinies fulfilled, to ensure the great constructive and natural desire that is innate within every person has the opportunity to fulfill, individually and in groups and within every nation of this world. I am Michael. I remain, along with the entire angelic host, at your service. Namaste. Namaste. Namaste.